Yo, this is Dez.
This is Mrs. Billups.
Oh, wait a minute. You're in this room.
With MadameNoire.
Yeah.
See?
You did that one.
What kind of action? Sorry. Yo, you know what you do to me. Stop it.
What did I
We're
do?
on camera. Stop it. It's happening right now.
This is different.
Okay, we're going to get it together.
I was just trying to really just get the check when I was driving the Sprinter, you know what I'm saying? So distraction for me was, eyes on the road, you know what I'm saying? So for me, going into it, it was like, I don't want no issues. I just want to, drive. But, Marsha didn't let me do that, so.
The lies he tells. No, but it's true. He was about securing this bag, and I didn't know that he was working on tour until a couple of weeks in, because then he would just pop up. I'm like, we're in Cleveland. I think I've seen him. He claims that I didn't pay him any attention. I may have, but
I didn't.
It was game 6. It was game 6. It's the finals. It's NBA finals. I was going to the game, and apparently we were in an elevator. And he said hi. But 3 weeks in, this reoccurring chocolate dream of a man is just around. And I'm like, Mitch, who's our mutual friend and also my road manager at that time and driver, I'm like, who is that?
Who brought me on the road.
So he hooked him up with the plug, and he was like, that's my homie, Dez. He's, taking care of, the other side of the tour. And I'm like, what's up with him, man? So I made the first move.
Right.
Okay,
You did. I agree.
You want to tell it?
Go ahead. I'll chime in.
Okay, so the venue's the Norva in Norfolk, Virginia. And upstairs, there's a dressing room that has an upright piano that sounds kind of out of tune, but really professional, and I love it up there. But they also have a basketball court. So I think the only thing I didn't find out about him is if he had game or not. So I look at him, and I can always tell by the way someone looks how they play, and I was just praying to Jesus that it matched up in my head what I wanted to see. So I knew there was a court, so I'm like, after the show, I'm gonna just go up there. I have my heels on, I have my whole fit, the shorts, the bustier, everything. So I go up there, and he's playing. So I'm like, okay, everything fits. I like this. This was up. And he had game. I was like, okay. So after that part, we get back to the hotel. So I text him after I'd seen him play basketball, and I was like, yo, you want to get something to eat? At that point, it's almost midnight. Everything downtown is almost closed. So this is a city that, we don't really know. I know the venues, but now we're walking around this city after midnight. The weather's really nice. It was July 15th. And it was just a conversation about everything, about our families, our dreams, our aspirations. And by the time we got to Cookout, best burgers, best shakes ever. Wasn't in a wheel, clearly 1 foot. So we walked through the drive-through to get our order, and then sat there on a bench and talked for hours.
Yeah, it was a long time.
It was. Well, I can look on my iPhone and look at the picture I took of the sunrise after we had that conversation and ran through sprinklers, which we still have the video footage of. It's really corny. It was straight rom-com, dumb stuff, but it was befitting of the moment.
See, in my head, this was just a movie, so this wasn't gonna last. Like, it was just like, yo, I gotta make sure she gets to the hotel safe, because people are like, yo, is that Marsha running through sprinklers? Like, what? I gotta go.
That's another thing. I had his name in my phone as movie, ! And then I remember we were either sitting at the same table, and he had me in his phone as movie.
It was crazy.
It was a movie. I was like, this is crazy.
It wasn't even real. Like, it wasn't.
Yeah, I was like, this is going to either be the best tour fling of all time or something else. And that conversation that took place From that day forward, we haven't been apart. He walked me back to my hotel room, make sure I got that back there safe, and we kissed goodnight. And
You silly.
the kiss of all time, where I just knew that, wow, this is the last person I'm gonna kiss. And I remember calling my mother that night. She was like, "You're awfully dramatic." She was like, "Where's the details? Did he eat you?" I was like, "Mom, don't even, what are you saying to me right now?" She said some very vulgar things. What you mean he didn't do? I've never heard of that position, lady. Like, stop it. Thanks, Cookie. But that's what happened. But it was just the kiss. And from that kiss, I kid you not, just straight movie. It was just a movie. And we were inseparable after that point. And it was I don't care who's talking behind the scenes as far as tour, as far as the band, as far as anything. I didn't care. It was the next city. I'll make sure when you pull up in your Sprinter, we're checking into these hotels, you can stay with me, babe.
Yeah.
We didn't sleep together for like 7 days, so it counts. No, I didn't go all the way in. 7 days.
7 days.
Long time, a lot of sexual energy. I was trying to keep it together, but the kiss was everything. It held me down for those 7 days.
For me personally, like I always was the type of person to get my own. So even when I did the tour and then I ended up losing my job for going on tour, I ended up driving Uber. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it was like everything, like car note, everything was paid off. So all I had was a phone bill and maybe a couple other bills that I can do Uber with. So from that standpoint, I was always independent. You know what I'm saying? Did I ask you for some money?
Never.
Yeah, I don't think I ever asked you for some money, you know what I'm saying? So it was, at that point, it was figuring it out. And I was like, I know I'll figure it out. It's just when, you know what I'm saying? When I was gonna figure it out. But it took about a cool 6 months.
About 6 months. Yeah. But I was, I guess on my end, that part didn't matter either. You know, you'll get the pressure from friends or family or industry, wherever it'll be, and they try to match your speed based on your careers. So it's, hey, I know this basketball player that, or I know this football player, or I know this CEO of such and such. I'm like, it doesn't work. They work, I work, we never see each other. So it's not that I was, okay, this is a regular guy, blue collar, like straight.
And this was like the first time I was ever honest. Like I was like, look, I only got $72 in my bank account. I work a 9-to-5 job. I might be out of here. Like I was very honest. So, cause I gave her all the right to be like, nah, I'm good.
But it was transparency. And for me, it wasn't about this being what people would consider for me as someone in the industry, a regular guy. I'm like, he got benefits, bro. Like some people in this industry don't even have those. So this is someone that it was refreshing to not have that part. Like there was no industry, there was no red carpet, velvet rope, VIP, have to be, you know, introduced in that way. It was natural because we spoke to each other because of a different connection. And it wasn't because, oh, I'm the artist and who are you, the driver? Like, it was never like that. I was approaching this person for who I got from them. So it was never a factor of him being who people would consider just a regular guy. This was all, you fine. You could do anything. He could have been anybody and I'd still tried to see what was up. I did ask our homie Mitch, I was like, how old is he? Because I was like, he's about to be like 19 years younger than me and that's terrible. However, I am grown and that makes him still legal. Going through all of these things in my head, like how can I actually still make this make sense? But it wasn't that much of an age gap. Still thought it was, I don't know why I considered myself with someone older or same age, but it wasn't even a fact. I was like, as long as it's not 10 plus years, I was like, if it just hits below that, I'll be fine with that. So the age difference, even though I am older.
You had an issue at first.
Because I thought you were lying. Like late 20s, 30s at the time and point when we met, I knew I was like late 20s, about to hit the 30 mark. I know where that is in life, but it was still...
I was already in my 30s though.
Right, so, but it was still different.
Right.
And where he was in life was different. So
that's true.
It was, and still is just perfect.
My firstborn, my daughter. You know, that's something that nobody's gave me. And that's the best. Like, I couldn't even imagine being with somebody else with a baby. Like, just thinking about it is crazy. I can't even imagine not her even going through everything by herself, you know what I'm saying? But let alone like just to have her career, the baby, and me, and I'm still feel like I'm number one, but I'm number two. You know what I'm saying? But it just feels amazing. Like it's crazy.
Thinking in my head of what he gives me that no one else can give me. We all know what that is. But it's the same thing. It's allowing my heart to receive the type of love that I always wanted for myself, that I've always given to other people, whether that was just family and friends and trusting in my circle. So I'd never had a serious relationship where I'd opened myself up for the possibility of that being reciprocated. I just knew how big my heart was. So to get that plus, I mean, our kid, I mean, she's about to be 2, like we have a baby. So it's, like he said, always my number 1, but number 2. Like we're a unit now. And I think being a tomboy my whole life and deathly afraid of childbirth and just knew that, oh God, not for me. What is it about to do to my vagina? No thanks. When I met him, I was like, I get it now. I know why people do this. I was more concerned with and excited by him being a father before thinking about what that would mean for me, being a mother. And that's when I knew it was real. I was like, I'm the most selfish person on the planet, and I'm not even putting myself first in that sense. It was, I can't wait for you to be a dad and see what that does to your heart. And just seeing how she is with him, I couldn't imagine doing this with anybody else. And like you said, yeah, you see what your friends go through and what people in this industry go through ultimately, but we can't even compare what that is because of how we started and how, yeah, this is my homie first, and it's just incredible.